Thank you for having me, Tracy.
Everybody is calling me all day long asking me about graphite and what's happening to create such a buzz in this industry. What's happening, Jeff?
Well, I think it's similar to some of the other strategic metals, Tracy. I got involved with a graphite deal a year and a half ago, and you didn't hear much about graphite. And I think when things start to heat up and people realize that what the market's doing for graphite and the supply-demand issues with graphite, you get more and more people, especially in the junior resource market, that jump on the bandwagon.
All right, graphite. I mean, why did you personally get interested in graphite?
Tracy, probably 3.5, 4 years ago, I got interested in strategic metals. As you know, rare earths, indium, graphite, a number of metals. And you've since seen some of the European Union and other people come out with their own list of what they believe the strategic metals are. I don't know if there's any great 4 years ago thought in my head, except that I continue to see this resource imperialism, where you've got countries protecting their own resources. The Asian countries are often around the world buying up different resources, whether they're copper, gold. And there's a certain set of critical strategic metals that again, that have different supply, demand, different amount of who's supplying what out there. And some of the obvious ones were things like rare earths, where you had China, again, that controlled over 90% of the rare earth supply coming to market. And there's several other stuff. Antimony, indium is very interesting towards the Chinese. And I looked at graphite, and the market was fairly large for graphite and growing. Prices were climbing, and China controlled 75 to 80% of the graphite market. So again, I'm really an economics person, finance person. I look at supply, demand, and also from the cartel or monopoly standpoint.
So you looked at the fact, once again you called it, you found another strategic metal where the Chinese are controlling 70 to 80%, and you found a property. What was the process in finding Flinders Resources, and how did you get involved with that?
Graphite made sense, and what we did is we looked at 3 or 4 of the past producing graphite mines in the world, or actually 2 of them were producing and 2 weren't, and basically decided that the best spot to be if you want to be in the graphite market is first to production. It's a race to production, similar to the rare earths and similar to other commodities. So, I think it was the Kringle mine in Sweden here was a past producing graphite mine that had shut down in 2001, had a fully permitted 13,000 ton a day operation there, and it was fairly straightforward to turn that back on once you worked it out with the Swedish government, what remedies of the past operators you need to fix. Everybody was on the same page, and that was about 1.5 years ago, and we started moving forward. So,
I noticed Jim Dines has extended coverage to Flinders Resources already, and I read that he says we're still rising. You can still get into this market. It's brand new, but I'm really surprised by the velocity so far. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, never underestimate the Canadian junior resource market to create tremendous velocity and lots of paper really quick. So the problem basically is that, again, you're going to see lots of companies that are basically, that don't, they're a very early stage or don't have anything. And those companies come to market. And again, I think that velocity, you're going to see it much quicker than even the rare earths. There'll be a high number of companies in this space. And essentially you got to be very careful. I think there's 2, 3, 4 companies that are probably companies I'd want to invest in.
You would be investing in right now?
Well, my main holding is Flinders Resources. I finance it as a private company, and again, I think that company is going to be very quick to production. They're shooting for the end of 2013, and they've just announced a private placement that again gives them probably all the capital they need to be back into production at their current facility. Northern Graphites, with their Bissett asset, is one of the top people in the space, and a lot of people will bring up Focus. I think, again, I haven't done a lot of due diligence on their 43101, but again, it appears to be a very high-grade deposit, and they're going to have to work on the metallurgy and some other stuff. But those companies have, I'd be looking for companies that at least have a 43101 report on them, a resource report, not just a 43101 technical report. They actually have a resource.
Okay, well then I just want to ask you about graphene. We've had a lot of people speculate that graphene is the catalyst for this movement in the graphite market. What are your thoughts on this?
My general take on what I've read on graphene and talked to some pretty knowledgeable people is graphene's a fantastic, is going to be, is it very exciting at the university level and the testing level that they're at, and is probably going to change the world, but it's probably not going to make a big difference in the next 5 to 10 years for any of these companies that are trying to get into production, is my opinion. Except that it helps companies tell a story that sounds even bigger. Oh, graphene stronger than this, and sure, but really, how much demand is going to be made up from your graphite, man, of graphene uses at this point? The real graphite story is the continued increase in demand for the standard uses of graphite, and this increased uses in the green technology, such as the lithium-ion batteries that are using graphite, Pebble Tech, Chinese nuclear reactors that they're testing. Now, these things are going to increase the graphite supply, and they're green related, similar to why people jumped into the rare earths,
Okay, well, similar to the rare earths, we had a light rare earth and a heavy rare earth, and of course, we worked really hard to educate a market. So with graphite, I understand that I want to be looking for a large flake, or what part of the world would you where would I?
Graphite's simpler than rare earths, and again, I'm not an expert. So there's different markets. You'll have people say that obviously large flake is better than medium flake or smaller flake and worth more. I shouldn't say better than. It sells for more. Jumbo flake sells for more. Deposit that is all jumbo flake graphite, let's say, or large flake graphite, and nothing else, it would be the most valuable graphite. But you have to look at the actual, how much of that graphite is used in the end processes. And in some cases, I've seen statistics that say, if certain jumbo flake graphite deposits came into production, they'd be the whole market, then some. So they'd actually have to take their jumbo flake and turn it into something for other uses. Again, I'm not an expert, so you really should have an expert on it. But again, there's much more than the simple jumbo, light, heavy, jumbo, medium. You better have people that understand the graphite market and understand how to sell into that market. So.
Your point is well taken, but you're an investor like myself, so I really appreciate your feedback. And while I have you on the phone, I just want to congratulate you with Tasman Metals and your recent PEA and results. They were outstanding. You want to just comment on Tasman before I let you go?
What I've noticed with Tasman, and has been a problem with a lot of rare earth companies, is they're very conservative. Those numbers they use for a rare earth basket price were the lowest in the industry for any 4301/PEA report. So again, I think Tasman is going to do quite well. I think Tasman offers a unique situation to end users in Europe, both chemical companies and end users of rare earths, that they can guarantee a supply there in their own continent in a friendly country, and the economics look pretty good. So again, I suspect Tasman will do quite well.
Jeff, outstanding. Thank you so much for joining me.